This is very exciting because I wasn't sure that this was going to happen, but so we have a very special guest, and I've never met her before. Of course, I know who it is.
You guys are going to need to spread the word very fast because this is unexpected.
And this is really exciting.
We have what I would like to call the leader of the real Me Too movement, and that, of course, is Rose McGowan. Rose, thank you so much for coming on.
Hi.
Love those glasses.
You're always so chic looking. You're always so chic looking. I saw you doing a big day in a Wallace and a tank top, and you looked adorable.
Wait, where was I?
It was something you did the other day. You were talking. Oh, you were talking to your old your co-star, your Holly. Is that? I was watching something you did with her, and you just looked really cute.
Oh, we lost the feed.
We lost the feed.
So let's give it a second. Right. She may be out of the country right now.
She's in Mexico. Oh, you're in Mexico.
I live in Mexico.
Oh, you live there.
Yeah. Sorry,
so you live in a country. Well, you live in a country that has healthcare.
I live in a country where it costs me. I have a broken arm. Sorry, I'm trying to find light. I was literally sorry as a TMI for everybody who's throwing up because I drank some bad water. On accident. No, it's not really Mexico. It's my fault. Yeah. I had my bottle of water to brush my teeth, but I'm just so used to, you are ingrained in the habit of just enjoying my Zoom background, everybody, in my bathroom. Hello.
You are extremely real and normal.
I think thank you for saying that. It's quite different.
I don't mean in a boring way. I mean like in a typical way. Like
no. I think I consider myself a worker amongst workers. Sorry, everybody, bear with my weird fingers. Worker amongst workers and a person amongst people, and that's, I think, unusual.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
And that's sad. I think, I grew up in a very unusual way, and I essentially raised, myself. So I wasn't formed. I'm kind of like a very, at times, well-mannered, at times I'm on my own, feral person in a way. So I never conformed to culture because it was never an option. And also I saw what it was, and it was very much, like a situation I grew up in. Anyway, bad water. You probably want to intro the show. Hello, everybody. My name is Rose McGowan.
Yeah. But you're talking about like you're a gypsy. You sound like a gypsy.
Well, I mean, that's actually like
very cool.
A race. Well, it was more like and it's always been Americans, to be really honest with you, people from the US, specifically, that always say, I'm sorry for how you grew up, which offends me greatly. I'm like, yo, no knocking on Ohio. I've been to, Canton, Cincinnati, and Akron, and what's the other one? Anyway, Ohio. But,
Springfield.
And they're like,
Springfield.
Springfield. Shout out Simpsons.
There you go.
See, he's a fan.
Well, I think you and I are pretty close in age.
No, she's in between us.
You look lovely. I just it just takes me back when you talk about The Simpsons. The Simpsons were good about 15, 20 years ago. It just shows you how it's incredible they're still on the air. But I remember in the early 90s, that's when it was really good.
Okay, so let me ask you. Like, we're just gonna just shoot the shit, but like, do you want to talk about things that are more serious? I mean, I know you would ask, and I'm very flexible. Like, we don't do gotcha.
I appreciate you asking that. Nobody asked me that, and they kind of journalists, and it wasn't until it was actually I did a podcast for the BBC with Louis Theroux during quarantine, and we had a 3-hour conversation. And it cut down to an hour, and I think they should use the rest of the footage for a bonus. It was a really. You ever talk to someone that you match a lot of minds with, and he's had a lot of experience in life, much more than most people. His is studying it primarily from the outside and then getting inside for a short period of time. Mine was deep inside. I look like a full lunatic right now, but that's okay.
No, I love the glasses. It's a little Penny Lane.
My neighbor just gave them to me.
I like them.
And I think if the cool kids at nightclubs can do it, why can I not do this in my own couch?
Oh, you definitely can. So no, I mean, seriously, like I made some notes of things like to just talk about that are like casual things that are a little bit more substantive. Nothing, that I think would be questionable or anything. Like that's not, I just, you're just cool. We're just going to chat.
Gonna let you ladies have your time. I will be back.
This isn't like some sort of like, we were kind of mocking
Wait, sir.
Yeah.
Are we
Peter?
live yet? Peter, sorry, you never said your name.
I apologize.
I'm sorry. He was my campaign manager.
No, listen, I love you. I appreciate everything that you've done. You're the type of person, like we love Nina Turner. Like we love the people that are really speaking to the real issues. Cut the BS out of the way. Just get to the heart of what's real problem.
We don't have time. Why is everyone so content with a fucking Band-Aid when we need change because we're all gonna die? It's kind of
yeah. No, listen.
We're gonna die, but we're gonna die faster, maybe than we need to.
Well, what do you always say?
None of us is getting out of here alive.
I like the Hells Angels credo personally. Ask cash or grass. No one rides for free.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's the thing. It's like planet Earth. If you mess it up, ask cash or grass. You're not gonna ride this life for free. You're gonna pay in one way or the other for what you did. And the reality is it's been generational. I've been watching and part of the Democratic Party from the inside to the outside, not like a lot of people respond to me on Twitter, and I don't know if they do with you, but probably as if they know more than you because they read the media, which is complete and total bullshit spin.
Yeah.
So you're like, and you're like, but and they're like, media is coming for you, Rose, and I'm like, I am motherfucking media.
Yeah, well, you learned a long time ago that they are not to be believed. Well,
actually, of course, I learned from them lying about me. And Harvey Weinstein, as Ronan Farrow uncovered, had paid off journalists like Vanity Fair, TMZ, people, allegedly, all these people, although Ronan Farrow proved it, because I never signed a non-disclosure. This is all I'm going to talk about with that stuff. But
I wasn't even going to ask you.
No, I know, but it's part of what I'm talking about, and it's the elephant in the room. So there's a little thing, literally a fat fucking elephant.
Yeah, gross, like Java.
I love elephants. Actually, elephants do not deserve that. They suffer enough. No, I thought it was funny, and I think I can't remember if it was the New York Times or it was Washington Post or some snooty kind of. It was a great review of my book Brave when it came out, a book I worked so hard on, and they said it was a woman who wrote the review, and they said the only thing we wish is that she didn't need to make fun of his appearance, because I said he scared me. I thought he was a large melted pineapple, and she shamed and the reviewer that's what she took away from my book. She shamed me, which is the exact person who's writing these articles that people read, forming their perceptions of me, you, and themselves without them knowing it. And that's what's dangerous.
Yeah, it's very one-sided perception, but I really had this epiphany when I was looking at some stuff about you, and I've known a lot about what's been going on in that movement, but really you're a whistleblower. And that's
I'm broader than that there. It's whistleblowers. What I think my definition and understanding of a whistleblower and fucking mad respect, what people don't understand is the strategy that goes on in that.
Yeah.
But some whistleblowers, I think, I don't think I fall into any traditional categories because this was not an accident. This was all on purpose.
No, but you really put yourself out there in a very scary position to do the right thing and to call people out and hold people accountable that needed to be held accountable in power positions. And so it's really...
It's actually broader than that. But yes, on the face of it, that's what I've done. Yes, the meta of it, what my actual goal is, and you can read more about this in my book, should any of you choose.
Yes, everybody should read the book. It's Brave, right?
Yeah, they suppressed it on Amazon because 4 days after I knocked out Weinstein, I knocked out a guy named Roy Price, who's head of Amazon Studios, who was already under internal investigation for sexually harassing the producer, Ray Bradbury's daughter from The Man in the High Castle, who's produces one of their top rated shows and still manages to get sexually harassed by, and it's under internal investigation for a year. So it was only Business Insider actually that I liked, because they were like, someday someone's going to study Rose McGowan's business moves. Because it wasn't like, I'm going to blow a whistle and then let's see what happens. It was like, no, this shit is strategic. This shit is years of I studied Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan's, and battle plans when I was 11. I had their maps all over my walls for a few years with like a Venn diagram, but going all around. And I would cross-reference different biographies, occasional like autobiographies if they had them, not or just their writings, and break it down and study it. And I've always been obsessed with strategy. And someone asked me the other day, they're like, do you play chess? And I was like, I play a mean fucking game of life chess.
Yeah.
Because being famous was my day job. I was discovered. I don't have the same motivations as pretty much almost anybody else. They say Lana Turner, an old movie star, got discovered, sipping a milkshake at a coffee shop at a soda fountain. That's not true. That was a studio invention. I really was discovered in LA, standing on a street corner crying. And I always knew, though, that was the weird thing. I always knew I was going to be famous. I always knew it wasn't a big deal. I always knew I do everything I do with subversive tactics involved. But not for any self-gain, and only because nobody's fucking doing it. People are doing it, but they're not getting the macro level of it. They're not getting the big part of the picture.
You find, I know, and I've seen you comment on these things, the hypocrisy of the people that are in the center and the establishment, and whether it's in your industry or just in politics in general. So when we look at all the people that were out there marching with the pink vaginas on their heads, and isn't that nice? But yet, we can't give credibility to Tara Reid because that will completely ruin our whole plans. So that's
I think it is inconvenient, and people, here's the thing. Each side, and this again, I want to look at it for me from above the power structure. That's very much the reality, the boots on the ground reality of what's up, right? That's the practical employment of their tactics.
Yeah.
And the propaganda machine. But what goes beyond that, what I'm trying to stop, or what I've been stopping actually, is kind of kung fu mastering these fuckers. Boy, did they kung fu me. So I'm like, and the thing is, you have to get to a place. People need to get to a place as humans. Like even when Peter, sorry, when he got up to leave, he said, "No." He said, "I'll leave you ladies to talk." And I'm not against the word ladies. I don't care either way. But why I think it's outdated is not out of like a politically correct, we can't say it because we're not supposed to feel it, which is the backwards way. You fucking don't. Just because you're not saying the bad word doesn't mean you're not the bad word.
Yeah.
You have to work through it. You have to think about it. You can't just put a Band-Aid on your head. And the big meta part, the biggest structure of all, let's take it as like a circle, right? Here's an orb. And that's what you're all in right now. That's what you're doing right now on that microphone. You're in it, like on this.
Yeah.
Sure. And I am somewhere, I'm way out of the system up here. And then the thought structure is way above me up here. And then the fuckers are between me and you. And I know all the fuckers that are pulling all the strings that are making you have to react to this. And the thing is like there's several things going on. And the biggest part of it is, and I know this from how I grew up. My father was a leader. He was an incredible, interesting, not for this world human, and wildling, a rascal through and through. He put acid in his commander's water cups so he didn't have to go to Vietnam. They waterboarded him in the Navy as punishment, and then he repeated for 24 hours while on acid, "I will not kill another race for this country." So that's who bore me. So if that gives you any clues to my personality.
So
I'm coming at it from a big structure, and I saw because of his stories, because of how I lived, because his reaction to his father being a big Navy man and pushing him into it, and there being a draft, so you can't not. My father was an artist. He's an incredible artist, and he was like the lead singer of a band, but his band was Jesus, right? He was a total rock star. When I was 11, I was like, "Dad, you don't even believe in God. you're a rock star and Jesus is your guitar. And he was like, and I was like,
so you were raised by atheists. You were raised by atheists.
No, I was raised by deeply religious, in a deeply religious cult that my father was the leader of the Italian chapter. And it was religion, but it was such a compact group of people. I could so see clearly from such an early age that what they're preaching wasn't matching with what they're doing. And I realized at a very early age that every time they said, Rose, if you let God in, or Rosa, because it was in Italy, have you let God into your heart? And I would think about it, and I would think back to the earlier in the day when I would lay in the garden and try to visualize opening my chest to God, and nothing would come in. And I was like, nope. And so they would sit on the end of my mat, because all the children slept on colored mats on the stone floor. And they would say, have you let God into your heart? And I was not being a dick. I wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
I have God in my heart in a totally different way. I tend to say goddess just because why not? What do words matter really at the end of the day if you're capturing a spirit, trying to capture the ephemeral, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw it so clearly, and I saw it early on. And this, I think, is an important point for people that can step back from the being in it like this every day, because it's toxic as fuck for everybody. It's toxic for you. I'm so shadow banned. I don't even really bother writing that much or tweeting that much because I have to figure out a way around it. But these little twats, these dickheads, these Zuckerbergs, the Google dudes who own YouTube, Twitter, obviously, they deactivated my account 4 years ago. And there was a 24-hour women worldwide boycott Twitter protest until they reinstated me. It was 4 days after I knocked out Weinstein and after I tweeted at Jeff Bezos.
He's another one. Like, God. No, he's gross.
I like to, he really looks like kind of that like him and Jeff Zucker from CNN. They look like walking thumb dicks. Am I right? Who could solve
I could see the penis head resemblance.
Many of the world's, like Bezos could solve world hunger.
I know. I say that often. Like, if you could solve world hunger and you don't do it, like, how do people sleep at night?
Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you?
They're psychopaths.
He's a psychopath. That he has the nerve to remember, like when around beginning of quarantine, he was doing a fundraising drive for his employees so they could have enough money to buy food while they were working during COVID. I'm like,
but he doesn't want to give them a living wage, so no,
he doesn't not want to. He's not. It's active. It's happening.
So let me ask you a question. So when all this stuff went down for you, and you are someone who I remember growing up, I'm a little bit older.
Stuff has always gone down for me.
Yeah. Well, no, what I mean is that I noticed that there was like a group of women that were essentially always now termed difficult and ghosted. And I noticed this a long time ago, and I always was suspect. I'm like, okay, there's something up with that. Like that's not right, and whatever. And of course, now I've come to know what was really, what the root of that is. But like when you were in that place, when you finally got out of where you were, where does the emotional healing come into play with what you're doing strategically? Like, how do you? Because I think when you're constantly strategizing, it's not necessarily, it's different things.
But I don't constantly strategy. I was actually smoking a joint right before I came on, trying to settle my stomach. I don't constant strategy. I take many moments and I live my life in a very different, non-traditional way. Always have. I just, traditional life is not, it's not that I try to buck it. I just was never in it. So I don't really, it's like an awkward, it's like a badly fitting dress on me, right?
So how was it when you were in it? How was it when you were working in that?
Fucking a nightmare. Imagine this. You don't even want to be famous. My sister Daisy, she doesn't want to be a star. That's not her thing. She runs a gallery called Goka, Goca, in Colorado Springs. I'm trying to find more light on. That's incredible. But I've seen her on stage during her fundraisers and stuff. She actually is the natural star. I was discovered, I can turn it on, but it takes a lot out of me. But it's also very meta, and it does a lot of damage. It's you're basically, it's meta upon meta upon meta. I was literally pixelated doing essentially female drag but not in a good way. I mean, in a
Right.
good way, in a celebrity drug. It's so hard to explain. My book goes into it. Like
Yeah.
basically
Well, it's
being made.
where do you be you?
Well, you don't. You have, you know, when I was on time, let's say I got off work at 11 o'clock at night, I'm going back at like 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. So I have maybe an hour and a half to be awake. That's when I get to be me, but I'm exhausted. And in that hour and a half to say hi, Pearl, I have to memorize 10 to 11 pages a
sitting
day.
with Peter. Look at her. Oh my God. Is that a Havanese or a Wheaton?
Yeah, you got it. You're the only one who ever has
Havanese?
She's a Havanese.
Yeah, because I have a Caton de Toulier, which is closely related. Have you ever seen
that
them?
What the other half is? There's the Bichon half.
Come here, Lulu. Come here, Lulu. Come on. Come here.
Lolita.
This is a Lulu.
Hi, beautiful. Oh. Perlisa's having
That's a Lulu. But she's kind of crazy. So we got her a Shih Tzu as a service animal. And instead she just turned the Shih Tzu crazy. So now they're both kind of crazy.
I had a rescue dog that was a feral dog that was in a cage for 7 years with 100 other dogs. And when I rescued her, I hadn't really fully thought it out, like how much trauma that would be. And also it turned out to be a Pomeranian once it grew its fur back. So it has the attitude of a queen. This dog was such the red carpet version of me that people thought I was. It was wild. Like the dog.
Well, do you think people resemble their dogs? I kind of think that there's definitely
at different times. I definitely, when I had black hair, and the guys look like my Boston Terrier, bug infested. Absolutely. And then right now, I very much look like my Havanese, except for hers.
Okay, you're talking physical. I'm almost talking like our personalities. Like I find my dog just sort of becomes like a symbiotic part. Like she just is part of it.
Oh, they are. And they come to the specific ones, especially the ones I think, like Perlita, my dog, is the first dog I've ever had with no trauma. She's the first. What has been healing me the most during this time, you asked, is her in a lot of ways, and the ease of weather and beauty around me, and paying, you know, a quarter of my rent that I was paying before. That helps a lot psychologically, stress-wise. But Pearl is the first creature I've ever come across that has no trauma from humans.
That's interesting. So that's a whole different thing.
And I watch her, and
she hasn't been tainted
ever. And I've worked really hard. She's on parvovirus. She ate a mushroom at a party. 4 days gone on that one. Then she had a bacterial infection. She got bit in the ear by a stray dog. But she just.
So are you in the country or are you in the city?
I'm in the jungle.
Are you in a city or what?
I'm in the jungle.
That's where I want to be. I would move to Costa Rica yesterday if I didn't have kids. I'd be in the jungle too.
Why don't you move your kids to Costa Rica? What's so great for them there?
No, then you got to fight with the husband over custody, and it's a whole ugly thing.
Wait, are you guys still married?
Yeah.
And he can't go with you?
No.
Well, everything's
he has a medical practice. I wish.
Everything's Zoom anyway. Why not a Zoom marriage? Hey.
I got to tell you, I've come to, as an older person, to appreciate, I do a lot of things on my own anyway. I'm an only child.
How old are you? If you don't
49. 49.
I'm 47.
Yeah. I told you were like between
You're not
me and
older than me. It's like a millisecond. It doesn't even really factor. It's very interesting. I remember feeling incredibly old when I was 5. I was exhausted, and at school, they asked us, what is our dream? When I was 11, I remember they asked, what is your dream vacation? And I said, I want to be in a hospital for a week where no one can hurt me and I can have all the pudding I want.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and it was just like, I actually, not for anyone having coronavirus or suffering or going through food hunger right now and going through food hunger, that's an oxymoron. Redundant. But just quarantine for the first time in my life, I had a break from the bad guys physically even coming for me. This has been going on a much longer time than people know. It's been going on with, various bad guys that have been in play here for 21 years. So not only did I not get to be me, I was people like, wow, you made money. I'm like,
is there a certain amount of gaslighting as well that you're getting for a lot of this? Because
no,
I can imagine, like,
honey,
for
why do you
me,
think that started now? That started like when I came to the States and they told me,
no,
girl.
I know. I don't think people understand that. Like,
everyone tells you what to do, and everyone tells you what they think you are. And two things that I cannot fucking stand are those two things.
Yeah. No, I mean, but the whole idea, like, have you ever had people tell you, "Oh, that just sounds like a conspiracy. It can't be all those people. They can't all."
I got in a tiff with someone this morning, and he's someone that I'm actually hiring for this company that I have, this wellness situation I'm doing, building on land here that I bought. And I said this, and I was talking about my landlord, the street owner, the landowner, and the owner in Bulgaria, right? That's what I was talking about. But all three, and he goes, no, this is a conspiracy. And he knows all the other stuff going on with me. He's like, no. I said, stop. First of all, you just had structural cult-like thinking pop out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Because and I go, you are mansplaining, you're gaslighting. Goes, no. And I'm like, stop. I go, if you're going to work with me, you need to understand and look at your behavior and change it, as do I when I have to look at my behavior and change it, just like anybody should be, right? But and this is a lovely gay Mexican man who's very spiritual and amazing human, fun, but literally his first instinct, and I said, it's my friend Thomas, a Lithuanian guy who happens to be gay, and Scottish guy, and I said, if I say I'm going to put my camera here, no. It's their first instinct with women, and I don't even like subdividing genders or anything like that because it's boring. But like, I've noticed it, like, just as a test subject, as a person who's met more men than anybody will in like 20,000 lives. Lucky me. Just kidding. But I've also met more women, and so at this point, I can do my own marketing studies. I can do my own study of how many are like this, how many are like that. They used to have in the olden days, in the olden days for internet, they had fans. If you had one fan letter delivered to the studio, that equaled 5,000 fans. And I hate the word fans. I don't like that one. I think
it's weird when you're not someone who wants to be famous.
Well, it's weird even if you do want to be famous, because it subjugates, and it's a separation thing. You're then dividing classes. You're like, I remember being 14. It plays into the class structure and how it reinforces that fan follower. It's fucking creepy.
See, and we deal with that with politics. What we're trying to do is get people back to understanding that politicians and our representatives are our employees. They're not people that are supposed to be on pedestals. Like, it's this, we have to level that. That's exactly what we're doing.
Well,
there's
in it on all levels. When I was 14, I was in Seattle, and I got asked by a friend, we were in Nordstrom shoe department. She's like, do you want to go get Pearl Jam's autograph? And I thought about it, and I was like, no. Why? I don't like them. I don't not like them. I have no feeling. It doesn't matter. But my idea, the exact image I had, if I went up to Pearl Jam to throw autograph, it would be like me, alms for the poor. Wow, I collect autographs, also weirdly, of old stars and writers and first edition books and things like that.
That's different. That's literary.
That's different.
That's
not just literary. It's art, or it's even actors.
You're not standing outside of a studio holding a book trying to get somebody to sign it. It's different.
Right, which is, well, those people often make a living that way, and they're people that are marginalized. So that's the thing. Some are legit, like, it's a strange, like being a stand-in, right? If you're a stand-in to someone, if you're standing in, how meta is that? Like, my whole profession was me never getting to have my own thoughts, my own words, right? And wham, boo for you. You try it. See how you fucking like it. You go to work, you complain about being at work, maybe don't like it, but you get to have your own brain.
Yeah. Well,
mine is like, it depends on the job. When I watch, no, but you get to have your own thoughts a lot.
Yeah.
A lot more. You don't have 10 to 14 pages a day where you're reciting usually a man's, what your idea of you is, that what you can be, sold to people that are then supposed to be sold your values and what they can masturbate to, while you're pixelated up to the satellites and beamed back down all over the world. it's a very strange thing to have happen to you.
What
And
do
the
you think
physical
that
feeling
says
and
about
sensation is very strange.
What do you think that says about people that do acting? You know, I always think about when I see musicians, for example, when they're writing music or they're performing, it's a piece of them. That's them. It's their art. It's what they're putting out there. And you could even say that to some degree with comedy, depending on the writing and whatever they're doing. But with acting, it's not you. It's purposefully being somebody else.
Right.
And so I wonder what that does to someone's kind of soul when you're not really putting yourself out there. You're being into someone else. And I would think it's a little
oftentimes actors, or at least I think it's important to separate artist actors. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good thing. Is that okay? Enjoy my shower head.
No, it's lovely.
You know, it's one of the parts of it is that there are true thespians, and everyone's like, oh, thespian, but they're fucking Alan Rickman, for instance. You know, comes to mind off the top of my head. He played Severus Snape in Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And
Brilliant.
Things, right? So when he died,
yeah.
he's a true artist. Ray Fiennes, I would say, a true artist. There are people that also love fame, and those people could also be your Instagram influencer. They could also be just someone who wants to be recognized. It's very complex and very simple at the same time. It's people thinking that outside shit's gonna fix them. Whereas some people, and we should all bow down and be grateful they exist. How many actors, the ones that are like the true artists, the ones that do it for the right reasons, and are
for the craft,
for the craft. I mean, I was discovered. I had love of film, and weirdly enough, the industry. I studied that for years. I studied classic Hollywood. My favorite job in Hollywood was co-hosting The Essentials as Robert Osborne. I love that. That was awesome. I loved him. And getting to pick like amazing classic films, and things like that, right? But as the rest, because I also got for 2 days that I filmed all those bumpers, I got to be me and have my own thoughts. And that was like one time in 23 years. I did my first film when I was 14.
So I know something that you had said, and it's something that I had thought of, like I had said to you in reference to not just you, but other women that were also sort of like blackballed and gaslit and abused. But
that happens to you too, dear.
Oh no, and we can talk.
We get it in a very intense and public.
Yeah, way, no, I have been violated. No, I've been violated. I actually say I do not know an adult woman that has not been violated in one way or another. Now it's a spectrum, ranging from somebody being rude to somebody raping you. I mean, it's a spectrum, but I don't know a woman who hasn't been violated. I had a boss come up behind me and rub himself up on my back and rub me while I was sitting at my desk. And then I got in trouble for telling about it. So, I mean, like I've had things like that, but it's violating.
It's everybody is a sovereign being. And it's really, something that was very interesting, going back to the one piece of fan mail equating 5,000 humans that are aware of your existence and would like to share in your existence, or that you take them out of their life in some way, or that you go with them on a journey, or you become their family, or you are their friend. That's the service I perform. That's the service actors perform. We make you laugh. We make you cry. We And then there's the dickheads that fly their private planes and then tell you to save, drive a Prius. Come on.
The hypocrisy is suffocating.
Oh, that form me too, Time's Up. That form, it's all bullshit. They each, Hollywood is very smart. Sorry, I can't, it's like weirdly hot and cold.
No, but you know what? It's so funny. I feel like in a lot of ways, you are in your industry how I kind of feel in what I'm doing, because I'm just a regular person just calling shit like I see it. And that doesn't go over very well with the people that are supposedly in charge. And I am like a person. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but lean into the pariah, girl.
No, I do. And the only time I don't is
fun. It's exhausting. Their stupidity, they're so basic. Their playbook is so basic. You're like, God, really? You're still going to pull that shit? The crazy drug addict horror that's, Google, you're still going to, when you Google my name, that's the first thing that comes up. Not that I was one of Time Magazine's People of the Year, GQ's Man of the Year award winner. Not that I've given speeches.
No, because they're not going to allow that.
But no, because they go with it. They're in bed. What I don't understand what the fucking Clintons have over everybody.
Oh, well, we could talk about that.
What is the story?
Well, they financially bailed out the DNC. So the entire party is beholden to them. Debbie Wasserman Schultz ran the party into the ground financially, and then it was bailed out by the Clinton Foundation.
She's a devil.
Oh,
that's treacherous.
Oh, terrible.
Oh, I did not know that. That's another level of fuckery.
Yeah.
God,
well, that's
disgusting.
why.
What is the end game, though? What is the end goal?
Well,
is it just
right
to be
now,
able to be on Epstein's Island for all those times? And
you know what? For her power, and look, if you want to know, Kamala is really just Hillary and a Kamala.
Oh, honey, dude, I know all of that stuff. I know these people. Yeah. I also knew it because I worked in DC. I was a lobbyist for No Labels, a fucking ridiculous group. I did undercover work. I got so bored acting, I decided to do like double undercover.
So what do you want to do? I mean, I did see something.
No, I'm building a mini empire. I'm good. Is that what you mean?
No, I know. I'm sure you are. You are totally got it going on. But I mean, I recognize when you said that your career was stolen, and that goes for a lot of people.
I didn't say I cared. I just
that's why
you're right. But to make that, but for many people whose passion, like a Mira Sorvino or an Annabella Sciorra or an Ozzy Argento, people who wanted to be able to fucking it is in their nature. The thing about acting, if it's really you and you really are a true performer, and I think I'm more of a performance artist, you know, one that kind of pushes at your brain almost more than I am an actor. But I have such mad respect for true actors that it's almost a compulsion. They have to get it out. They have to be able to. It's almost like I have a line in my album Planet Nine, also suppressed. It says, only here to paint colors on the sun, only here to see the fires run. And that's, I believe, what true actors and true artists and true everybody should be trying to do, which is don't let them steal your thunder. Don't let them steal your light. Don't let them steal your joy. We literally are here to paint colors on the sun. Don't let them from such an early age, and don't take it away from your kids, their emotional paint box. Because we have words like happy, sad, mad, glad. It's basic. Come on. We're better than that. We're more dimensional. But if you trap people in by basic language, but if I can write something that says we're only here to paint colors on the sun, then you can imagine you too having, you know, this giant paint box with these like paintbrushes made of stars, and we're all just here like, I look like a total fruitcake tonight. I assure you, everybody.
No, I was sitting there admiring the cape.
Yeah, my friend Enrique, he's an incredible designer from Mexico City.
It's really cool.
The sweater is too thick. It's very odd weather because when it's cold, it's still very humid. So it's like hot.
What part of Mexico are you in?
I'm in the Mexican Caribbean.
Nice.
Which is I have a really good friend who lives
in East Mujeres.
Oh, what a lovely place to live. Yeah, it's a really. My father lived in the Baja Sur for 20 years. In a little town called Todos Santos, which is like an expat arts community. It's really beautiful, and I've always had like a lot of my aunts and uncle are teachers in San Miguel de Allende.
I know
mountains. Isn't it pretty?
I haven't been, but I know people that were there half the year, and that I know what it is. I know it's beautiful.
Yeah, the doors, the colors in Mexico, and it reminds me like so much of like. I've always had, honestly, a hard time living in New York just because it's so gray and the buildings are gray. I guess I was raised in Italy where you have a lot of color and light and sun. And so it really helps my mood.
And we were just talking about all I see is concrete as far as I can see concrete and just big blocks of glass and concrete.
That's a nightmare. How are you supposed to have how are you supposed to feel free? How are you supposed to feel good? How are you supposed to feel like you can spread your wings? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you and I might be kindred spirits. I think of myself as somewhat of a dryad. Like I actually want to live in the trees. I'd love to have like a tree house in the mountains and just be in the trees.
Well, you shall. And one of the things that's funny, I wish you could see
you
it
in
now,
like
but you can.
Oh my God.
But all of my house, like apartments or house, is always about 3 stories up.
That's
so
awesome.
I always
You're in the tree.
Nothing around me, so I feel like I have I'm floating in the air in the trees, not in a tree. Yeah, that I have an open air. We should have more light. Let me find it for you. An open air dining room. It's really dark. Sorry. I'm turning on one light. Bear with me. You'll see.
Okay, so can I ask, is there a new boyfriend?
I don't even like the word boyfriend. That's
I know, partner, significant other. I know, but here's the thing: is
you know what I want to do?
And I assumed they meant life partner, and it was business partner, and it was awkward.
No, there's no good words. I think that's why we need to write a new dictionary. because the words we're using for things they're not, they're not cutting it, and they're not adequately explaining what, or illustrating, or showing the emotion of what we're even talking about. But he's not a boy, he's a man. He's 41, very age appropriate. Woot. And
he's adorable. I saw a picture and he's just absolutely adorable.
He's an amazing human, and I call him like a 10% alien, because he's like such a good human, but he's not even aware of it. But he's just a humble, amazing, feels very deeply. I fell in love with him when
that's so sweet.
Speaking of business partners, when he speaks very good English, but English at best of times is not the most nuanced language, right?
No.
It can be, but you have to really know a lot of vocabulary. And Spanish is his first language, obviously. And but I knew he was like feeling and thinking deeply, but I didn't know. So he texted me after we spent like a weekend together. He's like, that's not how he talks. He said it over text. It is very nice to meet you. And I'm like, in America, that would mean, okay, I had a really horrible meeting and I never want to see you again. Or a bad Tinder date. I never want to see you again. Not, and I'm like, and I started laughing and I wrote back. I said, babe, can you please tell me what you're thinking, and what is making you, what is the look in your eyes that I see? What words in Spanish explain that? And then he wrote me, and I was like, what? And Google Translate actually came through on this one. And it was like, I found like the way his mind and how he expresses himself. It's really beautiful.
Right, when it can't be done in English.
No, and luckily, I mean, that's the frustrating thing for me. My mom didn't allow us to speak Italian when we came to the U.S., so I forgot it. And but I can feel it there, and I can feel my brain reaching for other words, but I can't get to them. I think she just didn't want anyone asking about her past history and stuff, shame-based stuff.
So you are in a good place now, physically.
Yeah. I had the last couple of days, it re-triggers a lot of that, like all the fuckery with Lisa Bloom, David Boyce, the monsters.
If there's anything you want to talk about that, feel free. I wasn't,
It's just a full-on lie, and it's stupid. It's so basic and it's so obvious and expected. So let me see. CBS writes, they canceled her lawsuit. She lost the lawsuit. Not true at all. I have 3 weeks to correct a mistake that was made on the form. That is not a mistake made by my team.
Right. So but they're going to make it look like it's a joke. And this is just gaslighting stuff.
I know what they do. I don't care if they do me, because I know what they're doing. Having, quadruple thousand PhD and that shit at this point.
So just so people know, if people don't know, this is regarding a civil lawsuit against Harvey Weinstein.
Do you mind if you talk about this stuff while I take a 1-minute break and come back?
No, go ahead. Yeah, no, this is
I like this off the cuff, totally random.
That's me. I've got no agenda. Yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm very happy that I stopped throwing up and going to the bathroom long enough to be able to just hang out with you tonight.
No, it's really cool.
And I do wonder, because I get very casual in these things, but I think I'm so used to Zoom calls now. It's making me feel like and then everyone is much more, if I'm like, it depends on who I don't know. I'm just enjoying hanging out.
Yeah, but okay. So speaking of that, I really thought it was cool what you said about the whole Jeffrey Toobin thing. Well, you want to talk about having
what a scumbag. What did I say?
Oh, gross. But now in all fairness,
but what did I say? I don't remember.
You made the very clear point that had it been a woman, that it would have been an entirely different story. They would have basically lynched her, it would have been a whole.
I said, had it been, imagine if it was a Hispanic woman or an African-American woman or a woman, or a white woman named Karen, what would have happened to her?
It would have been a whole different thing. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, that is gross. But in all fairness,
I'm going to take a 1-minute break.
What?
I'm going to take a 1-minute break.
Okay, go ahead.
And then if you can explain to people what the lawsuit is about.
We can wrap up. We still have to do our. It's, we can. It's totally cool.
My head has been sideways, and this could be my least attractive appearance ever, but I believe
Oh,
in
you're so
the power
cute.
of being free. I believe in being a human amongst humans. I made
Well,
$15,000 last year. Is that under the poverty line in the US?
yeah.
Activism pays. Who says it doesn't? Being suppressed on all platforms really helps the sister out, but all
Which
I
we
need
are
to
very vehemently against here. We are against censorship. So, but yeah,
very
no, go do
vehemently
what you're gonna
against
do
that.
because we got to wrap up. And
Okay, bye, honey.
would you come
Talk
back
again.
sometime? Would you come back sometime?
Absolutely. Or you can just text me and we can keep talking.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Rose. You're adorable. Thank you.
Bye, love.
Bye. Because she wanted to go do something, and I could sit here and chat, but I'd rather you come back and us finish our show. And she was so cute, and we've been on for a while. And so anyway, that was cool talking to her. And she definitely is an artist person. Like, I get that vibe completely. She's definitely an artist person and very cool and really has zero F's to give. That's what she's got. That is someone who has been there, seen that, done that, and is just done. Like, really just done.
I had a friend, my friend Mike Werhan, who I would have brought up, but I didn't think it was, it didn't have to happen because you never know what she wants to talk about, especially about Weinstein. But
that's what I said. I wasn't going to bring it up.
A friend who's been a producer in Hollywood and in China, and this is going back years, and we would always talk about what a scumbag Weinstein was. And then, of course, when it finally broke, it was like, yep, saw that one coming. And little did we know how bad it was ultimately going to be. But again,
so everybody hit the like button if you're on here now. That was a special treat. We all got to visit with Rose McGowan in her Mexican treehouse, which is now very, very desirable to me. But anyway, so that is our change maker of this week, because that is someone who really stood up in a way that nobody else at the time really seemed to be willing to do.
No, and she's the end. Listen, there is such a level of hypocrisy on the Democratic side when it comes to calling out the real problems, but then when you're faced with one that's on your team, you try to brush it under the rug.
And it's even worse in that industry. I'm sorry.
That's
horrible.
Absolutely.
I did know at the time. I remember thinking that there was this group, like, how come those actresses, they're just, you don't see them anymore. And it was basically this entourage of young women, kind of close to my age, that basically just all fell off the face of the earth, like she was saying, like Mira Sorvino, and like that were people that were, and it's like they got totally blackballed by Jabba the Hutt, essentially, is what happened. So she is a badass, and she still continues to speak up all the time, and that is something that I really.
But she's gotten very involved in the political side of things, which is great. And she has called out Alyssa Milano in particular for the hypocrisy to no end. I mean, and again, the problem with Milano is the fact that she was so front and center in the Me Too movement, but then the second it turned around and got to Biden, it's like, no, but Biden's okay.
Oh, how about that? She was all defund the police and then called them to her house the next day or whatever. Like, she's Karen and a half.